What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, a daily dose of Dolphins content with your boy Chris Kane. Let's talk about the Dolphins. So, there's an article today about how the Dolphins could be in play for a TJ Watt trade. Let's break it down. Basically, TJ Watt's under contract currently, but the way he was getting paid is way below where he should be getting paid now. He's getting about 10 million less than his position dictates, right? And the Steelers, for some reason, don't seem like gun ho to give him an extension. So if that's the case, typically they trade the player because we don't want to pay you, but we want to get some kind of value back for it. So before people say it's a pie in the sky, it's not happening, that's the breakdown. He wants more money. He deserves way more than he got. Actually, his first contract was too low. And now the market's just done this. The Myles Garrett contract has completely destroyed the DN market. So he's due for more money. Steelers don't want to pay him. So he's probably going to ask for a trade at some point. If not this year, next offseason, at some point. So the question is, could the Dolphins be in play for it? An article had a potential trade scenario. I got to read this off because normally I don't do this. The trade will be we get TJ Watt and the Steelers' first round pick this year. Okay? They get our first round pick this year, next year's first round pick, and a second rounder, and Jalen and Zach. So basically, pick swap at ones, another one, a two, and two starters, right? Um, that feels like a lot. It feels like a lot, but I tried to make it make sense, right? It's like, why would they give all that up, right? I think the reason Jalen is in the contract is because Jalen's in the last year of his own contract, right? Jalen's in the fifth year of his fifth year option. He hasn't been healthy for most of his term here. We love Jalen, but he's been hurt a lot. So it can go one of two ways. Jalen plays this year and gets hurt again, and then we basically either don't re-sign him or sign him for pennies on the dollar, or he balls out, but then he wants an extension. And so the idea of us signing TJ Watt will require us giving him the extension he wants as well, right? So we're going to give an extension to a defensive end. Do you want to give it to a unbelievably injury prone Jalen, or do you want to give it to TJ Watt, who I think when he plays is the best at his position, arguably, right? That's where that part comes in. Zach, because Cameron Hayward's going to retire soon, and you just kind of plug and play. So that makes sense. Cameron's a future Hall of Famer. I don't believe Zach is that good, like comparatively. Zach is a great player, but Cameron is one of the best I've seen. So you replace those two positions, and then you get the first round picks to, further build your team. Maybe they draft the DN at 13, and they just kind of redraft their team. That's kind of why it works for Pittsburgh. For Dolphins, you get TJ Watt. I mean, that's the trade. Hey, here's TJ and first round pick. And with that first round pick at 21, you can get an offensive lineman, you can get a cornerback. So now you can really start building that defense up a little bit more. Maybe someone drops in the draft that you didn't think would be there. Now they're there at 21. And you're like, oh, that's pretty nice at 21. And so I don't think it's the worst trade at all. I think it clearly works for both teams. I am a big TJ Watt fan, more so than a Micah, more so than a Nick Bosa. Like, I think TJ is Himothy. That's how I feel about TJ Watt. So if there's any trade where we get TJ Watt back, I am here for it. TJ Watt plus a first round pick. You draft the best guard available, best cornerback available. Now you got arguably the best pass rusher in the league. Now you got Chop on the other side. You got Bradley Chubb on the other side too. The three horsemen. I know it's four, but don't just stay with me right now for the metaphor. The three horsemen come in at quarterbacks, and you add possibly a cornerback, possibly a guard to the team as well to fill that position. You don't trade. You're trading future picks, right? Other than our first round pick this year, we don't give up any more of this year's picks. So it means this year can be really devoted to just rebuilding the team as much as we need to. And ideally, we're going to be good enough next year that pick next year is not a great pick, right? Isn't that the goal? That we ball out this year. That pick is somewhere in the mid to late 20s. And Pittsburgh's like, oh, we traded TJ Watt for basically the 26th pick in the draft. Like, that's the ideal circumstance. Then the worst case scenario is if we don't have a good year and that pick is like 10 or 11 and Pittsburgh's like, oh, bet we can like rebuild our team. But I'm thinking as a Dolphins fan, best case scenario, TJ in the first round pick, plus the other 11 picks we have in this draft, like, or 10 picks we have in the draft. I think that makes a lot of sense. Again, he's not asked for a trade. This is not imminent. It's just like, just sprinkle it out there. And as I've said many times, anytime something is sprinkled out there, it's because somebody wants you to know it. right? TJ's camp probably told people, hey, man, we've been talking to the Steelers about an extension. They kind of balking at it, like you got to play your contract out, or, I know Miles just got 40. How would you do 35? Like, that's what happens. If there's an impasse and if we're not having communication, we leak it to the media. Then the media starts talking. You're probably going to see by the time this episode drops, ESPN, First Takes, Fox Sports Ones. Could TJ Watt be on the move? You're going to see this story going into the offseason. There's going to be a lot of pressure on the Steelers, maybe even draft night. Like, hey, if y'all don't plan to extend him, you're going to get the most value right now. So you might hear it first, hopefully, or you're gonna see it for sure because it's too big of a story. He's too good of a player. Myles Garrett did it as a ploy to get more money. I don't think TJ wants to leave, but I can't imagine that he's gonna just let himself be 10 to 12 million behind the top guys. I just can't see him doing that when he's as good or better than all of them. So fingers crossed. It would be awesome if we really are like in play for it. I don't mind giving up first round picks if you get generational type talents. I think TJ Watt's on the Hall of Fame track, and if you can get a player like that, still in his prime, still tremendously useful, I'm here for it. Go for it. Now I've seen some other things today that I don't know. That's how we do case or no case because I'm like, can I make this make sense? And we're gonna find out right now. So one mock draft that had the Dolphins drafting Tyler Warren at 13. It didn't even say first round because I put round one because I can see a scenario where we trade back and maybe, but at 13, I don't know what we're talking about. What are we doing? If Tyler Warren's on the board at 13, as he should be, because why would you draft a tight end higher than that? There's almost certainly going to be at least cornerback 2 or 3, offensive tackle 2 or 3, safety 1, linebacker 1 or 2. Like, I don't know what we're talking about. We have so many other needs than Tyler Warren at this position. Now, I like Tyler Warren a lot. As a receiver, I see him more in the George Kittle type mold. I don't think he's nearly as good of a blocker. George Kittle is one of the best blockers ever at tight end. But as a receiver, I think he's awesome. I think he's for sure a game breaker. He's faster than Laporta. I think he's more versatile in where you can play him on the field. I think Mike McDaniel will have a field day having him on the team. This is no knock on Tyler Warren as a player. At 13 is an absolute ridiculous statement. I don't know what we're talking about. So there's no case in my mind where at 13 he's the pick, unless you tell me John New broke both his kneecaps and his ACL exploded. Oh, and he severed his spine. So we got no tight end for next year. Then I'm like, all right, cool. But even then, I would just say trade back. He should still be there in the later teens. We could probably trade back with a team like Tampa, who likes to get top-notch defensive talent. They trade up and get a top cornerback. Like, we can probably do some other stuff. I don't see him at 13. I don't get this. This feels like a nothing burger. Maybe somebody from Penn State wrote this article and they're trying to get him drafted higher. I don't know. I don't get it. I cannot make a case for this. And finally, another article about first-round pick. They had us drafting Josh Simmons in the first round. Now, some of you don't know who Josh Simmons is for good reason. He didn't play most of last year. He played for Ohio State. He's offensive tackle. And he tore his patella, which is ugh. And he didn't play for the rest of the year. So technically he's a champion, but he really didn't get to be part of that championship run, right? Before he got hurt, though, great. Like, he probably would be a top 10 to 12 pick had he not gotten injured. He would be in the same boat as, like, Banks and Will Campbell and those guys, right? But he got hurt. And his best attribute is that he's got good feet. He's good at knowing how to position his body. Obviously, he has the size, went to Ohio State. They don't recruit small or inadequate people, right? His biggest weakness, though, is that he's not that strong at, like, the point of attack. So you know how offensive linemen get their hands on you and they have heavy hands? He doesn't. He's more skilled. He's more like, I'm going to angle you. Like, I guess maybe he's a smarter tackle than he is a more physical tackle, right? So, like, maybe in run blocking, he's not great, but he would know how to cut your angle off so you don't get to the quarterback. Probably better in pass protection than run protection. Fine. 13, again, what are we doing? There almost certainly would be 2 tackles on the board I would take above him. Any guard should be on the board at 13. There's no guard by any metric I've seen going ahead of him. And again, there will be top corners on the board, and we know we need corners and safeties. So I don't get this pick at 13. Now, if we trade back, depending on how far back we trade back, If we're in the mid 20s, let's say we trade back with a team like a Buffalo. Buffalo, I think it's like 27, 28. And Buffalo's really like dead set on rebuilding their defense, which has been decimated by contracts, age, and that kind of thing. And Buffalo loves a guy up, let's say Kenneth Grant is available at 13. They want to move up. Now, if we're at 25, 26, and Simmons is on the board, he might be a risk. Again, he's a tackle. Nothing I've seen outside of Teron Armstead's like glowing appraisal has anyone having confidence in Patrick Paul for next year. Because all these draft boards have the Dolphins drafting a tackle in the first round, which is wild to me. It's like I haven't seen one that just said, "Oh yeah, Patrick Paul's they're gonna be fine." There's just pessimism across the board, and I don't know if the Dolphins aren't doing enough PR to like quell this, or if we're kind of facilitating the we don't love what he is, because I don't get that. You drafted him in the second round. Because I also haven't seen Patrick Paul in any trade talks, right? Because if we're gonna move on from him, he's a second round pick, cheap tackle, right? You can theoretically package him into any kind of bundle and maybe like move up and down the draft. I'm not hearing anything about him being traded, but I'm not hearing anything about him playing. So I don't know what we're doing here. It's like second round pick, the guy who was his teacher is leaving, and it's like, hey, we got a vacancy. Let's get another person. I don't get what's happening there. So I don't get this in the first round because I don't necessarily believe he's better than Patrick Paul is, and he's coming off a knee injury. Like, so I don't know. This doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I cannot make a case for this. This may be Ohio State's people just putting some stuff out there for the fodder. But guys, thank you for tuning in to Dolphins Daily. As of making this video, we are at 999 subs. I was hoping we'd be at 1,000 so I could be like, we hit 1,000. I just checked it. Nah. Holding steady at 999. But by the time you see this episode, we should hopefully have crossed over. Listen, it's been an amazing run. Thank you all for being with us through 1,000 subs. We hope to keep pushing through to 2 and all the way forward and keep diversifying what we do on this channel. But we appreciate the love and support. We'll see you guys next time on Dolphins Daily. Peace.